I'm a bad motherfucker.
Like when the Oscars gave the best documentary to the documentary on the white helmets, that was pro-war propaganda because the CIA is intertwined in Hollywood, right?
Since the beginning.
Since the beginning. And so it's pro-war. And so that's what the white helmets were, and they were intelligence operation from MI6. And I'm sure the CIA, but they were. And so they're pro-war, Western regime change war. And so now here we have this. We have this Oscar given to this documentary for 20 Days in Mariupol. It won the Oscar for Best Documentary. Now it's complete propaganda. So here, let me show you this guy. Oh, hang on.
Stop.
But probably I will be the first director on this stage who will say, I wish I would never made this film. I wish to be able to exchange this to Russia never attacking Ukraine, never occupying our cities.
I'd like to exchange it for your Nazi regime not bombing the people in the eastern part of Ukraine, the Donbass, after the CIA and the Nazis overthrew the democratically elected government in the Maidan coup in 2014. That's what I wish. That's the part that they don't say at the Oscars.
Why would they say that?
Why would they say that?
Nobody wants to hear that.
Sure. I wish to give all the recognition to Russia not killing tens of thousands of my fellow Ukrainians.
What about Ukraine not killing the 16 to 18,000 Russian-speaking people in the Donbass, even after there were 2 peace accords, the Minsk Accords, that Ukraine broke on purpose?
No, Putin did it first.
And then
Putin broke an agreement first. I'm being twitted.
Yeah, you're being.
No, he broke an agreement first.
Yeah.
Which one? Man?
And it was admitted to by the former Prime Minister of Germany, who said that Merkel, who said, yeah, those peace accords, the Minsk Accords, were just there to buy time so Ukraine could build up their army because we were going to provoke Putin to invade when we doubled our shelling of the people in the Donbass, which is what they did, and threatened to put Ukraine into NATO. Okay.
I wish for them to release all the hostages, all the soldiers who are protecting their land, all the civilians who are now in their jails. But I cannot change the history.
But I can lie about it. Because that's what he's doing. I can't change the history, but I can lie about it and then produce a propaganda film that assholes in Hollywood don't have any idea is propaganda. They think it's real.
He's talking about Ukraine hostages?
He's talking
I thought
about...
he's talking about Gaza.
No, that's coming later.
What hostage? What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Cannot change the past. But we all together, I'm on you, some of the most talented people in the world. We can make sure that the history record is set straight.
When he said it's you, some of the most talented people in the world, it would have been more accurate if he said, some of you are talented, but most of you are the most propagandized people in the entire world.
Well, they're talented blanks.
That's for sure. They're the most propagandized people in the world.
And that the truth will prevail. And that the people...
If the truth would prevail, that would be bad for you and your Oscar. Well, we know that's not going to prevail because West owns the media.
I didn't see it. What was it? What is it about, the Mariupol?
We're going to talk about
Mariupol, and those who given their lives will never be forgotten.
Okay.
Coach Red Pill?
That's enough of that shit. So, I witnessed documentary shot by war reporter Mstislav Chernov during the Russian siege of the Ukrainian city takes Academy Award, the country's first.
Are they actually? It's a sob story about a siege. Are they joking right now with Israel and Gaza? Are you joking?
They're not joking. Directed by this guy, a Ukrainian journalist who documented the invasion in early 2022, 20 Days in Mariupol drew wide acclaim after its premiere at the Sundance Film Festival in 2023, with The Guardian's Peter Bradshaw calling it a searing film that bears a terrible witness to the great crime in a 5-star review. In an interview with The Guardian, Chernov described the film as some kind of collective resistance to tragedy. Well, this guy says this Chernov's documentary, 20 Days of Mariupol, is nominated for Oscar. Also photographed Maidan massacre in Ukraine. Oh, really? So the Maidan massacre in Ukraine was when there was the overthrow of the government. And they started firing on police. They started firing on medics. They started firing on peaceful protesters. Who did that? The right-wing Nazis. They were trying to overthrow the government. And they were trying to blame that on the government they were trying to overthrow.
Was that where they burned them people in the building?
I don't know about that.
Oh.
Maloketa filmed far-right linked Maidan snipers in the music conservatory. 3 of them admitted in BBC and Ukrainian media interviews shooting police. Prosecutor General investigation confirmed my study findings that this group of Maidan snipers killed and wounded police. Maidan massacre trial verdict confirmed my study's findings that this group of Maidan snipers was in Hotel Ukraine, that many Maidan activists were shot from this hotel, and that it was controlled by Maidan. Nobody of them was arrested for this massacre. Moreover, far-right commander of this group of Maidan snipers was filmed and presented as a hero in another Oscar-nominated documentary entitled Winter on Fire. So here's some of that.
Just after 8 o'clock that morning, a news photographer had managed to get into the building with his camera.
When I come inside, I saw the guys. One come after me with just a hunting rifle, and I saw the guy with a Kalashnikov. And after that, I come outside and saw the other guys who was also with guns. Some of them lying on the floor, some of them hiding behind the columns on the second floor. And after that, the guys who saw me and said, "Go out, go."
So they said that the snipers received firearms orders and instructions to massacre both police and protesters from specific Maidan leaders and Georgian and American ex-military.
Oh, they work for the shop?
So this is how the CIA, yeah.
Oh, the shop.
The CIA.
And they got a cookie, a Victoria Nuland cookie for each.
Yes. Mistav Chernov, whose 20 Days of Mariupol has won Oscar for Best Documentary, never photographed or reported Maidan snipers, even though he was filmed by CNN photographing the wounding of Maidan medics, who testified that he was shot from Maidan, a controlled bank Arkada. A far-right group of Maidan snipers was filmed in Hotel Ukraine when Chernov and other Maidan medics were filmed there carrying this wounded medic. So this guy who did this documentary, he knows what happened. He knows the start of this war. That's the point of this. But he doesn't tell you that point. He starts the story from the Russian invasion. So he's starting the story in Act 3. He's not starting the story in Act 1, which was this: the overthrow of the democratically elected government of Ukraine by the CIA and the far-right militia and Nazis. He doesn't tell you that part because he wouldn't win an Oscar if he did. Maidan massacre trial verdict confirmed my study's findings that this group of Maidan snipers was in Hotel Ukrainia, that many Maidan activists were shot from this hotel, and that it was controlled by Maidan activists. So here
a CNN photographer captures the moment when a group of medics is seen helping a man lying on the ground.
And they shoot a medic.
One medic falls to the ground and tries to crawl away. We don't know if he survived.
So, Mislav Chernov's photos of Maidan massacre, in particular his photos of this wounded Maidan medic and Hotel Ukrainian were used by him and numerous media and Wikipedia, which is controlled by the intelligence communities of the West, MI6, Mossad, and the CIA, to propagate false narrative of Maidan massacre in Ukraine. So the false narrative is that the government of Ukraine was doing that. So this guy's a lying, murderous propagandist. That's who the Academy Awards just honored.
Well, that sounds
So, and that's pro-war propaganda. So hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians can be slaughtered. We're not anti-Ukrainian people. We're anti the right-wing militia and the CIA that overtook their country.
By the way, Jimmy, if let's say he's right, his whole narrative is correct, and it's just that Russia's bad and they wanted to go in a smaller country. If we hadn't pushed them to go to war the way they did,
They wouldn't.
They would have more of their country than they do now.
That's right.
That they're not going to get back.
That's right.
None of the things have worked out. Right out of the gate, they could have been, okay, it's neutral.
Because this was never about helping Ukraine. This was about the West trying to inflict economic pain on Russia. That's all this was about. This was about stopping the Nord Stream pipeline, which they eventually blew up. This is about screwing over everybody so that the West, the United States, thinks that they would have a better economic position. It's not. It's screwing the West. It's screwing Europe. It's screwing Germany. Now that they blew up the Nord Stream pipeline, Germany's paying up to 4 times the price for their energy. It's tanking their economy, and it's draining our treasury, the United States Treasury.
Oh, also, Russia's doing better than they were before we
And
started
Russia-
sanctioning them.
Russia-
Great job.
We've covered this. Russia's economy doing way better than it was before the war. And now power centers are being formed outside of the United States and the West to oppose us. That were never there before. So every bad thing that they warned that Trump was going to do, these guys are doing. And they're trying to stoke World War III. So that's your Oscars. I just wanted to give you that. That's your Oscars.
If you hate Russia, just so you know, you should be more angry
That's right.
than me, who doesn't really give a shit about Russia or understand why I'm supposed to. If you truly like Russia, well, blah, blah, blah. They're doing better than they were before another one of our amazing adventures.
Yeah, if you wanted to actually hurt Russia, you'd be angry at this Ukraine war.
Just shut the fuck up. You'll do more damage to them.
That's right. What this war really did was kill more than a couple of 100,000 Ukrainians, put an economic hurt on Europe and Germany, and drain the treasury of the United States. Imagine if we spent that money here at the United. Just imagine that. Imagine we could all have bullet trains. We could all have bridges and infrastructure and schools. We could have a functioning infrastructure. We could have housing that's affordable. We could have mental health facilities for the homeless who are mentally ill.
Oh, what do you want government to do everything for you and not Ukraine?
And not Ukraine.
What do you want government to take over your health care instead of doing it for Ukraine and you pay for it?
Okay, and all the people who are pro-Israel. Israel has health care, Medicare for all. We don't.
And they're doing a much worse siege, by the way. And you know they are because whoever I say it to that's for this goes, well, that's war. You know, he should call his movie That's War. Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it? It's almost like a crime, like a huge crime.
So here's I didn't watch I was skimming the Oscars last night. Steph was watching it as I was working.
Skimming too.
And I saw this was the only mention I saw of the people of Gaza. If there was another one, let me know. But here it is. This is the Zone of Interest director, Jonathan Glazer. He references the Gaza conflict. Here we go.
In the present, not to say look what they did then, rather look what we do now. Our film shows where dehumanization leads at its worst. It shaped all of our past and present. Right now, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict for so many innocent people.
So now some people are
That's
saying
war.
he's saying he refuted his Jewishness. Now, if you listen, that's not what he's doing. He's refuting that his Jewishness is being used to perpetrate another Holocaust on people.
Yeah.
That's what, but people want, so now the Zionists want to twist that. and say, look, he's a self-hating Jew.
Do people not notice? Wait, do they not notice that
What?
Like racists who say the Jews are doing this, people that hate Jews, and also Zionists and people who support them say the same thing. It's a race and a religion, and Zionism is Judaism. And if you don't say, the racists and the good people that hate racism are saying the same thing somehow.
I separate Zionism from Judaism.
Well, that's because you're anti-Semitic.
But guess who doesn't? Zionists.
And Hitler.
And Hitler.
Like, great job, everyone.
It shaped all of our past and present. Right now, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict for so many innocent
he's not
people.
saying
So his Jewishness and the
hijacked.
and the Holocaust is being hijacked.
He's not refuting his Jewishness.
That's right.
Did somebody say he's refuting his Jewishness?
And a Holocaust that's being hijacked. You're doing this in the name of the Holocaust.
Whether the victims of October the...
That is what's known as a smattering of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That is not a full-fledged. That is a smattering of applause.
Whoa, God, it's so uncomfortable. Can we get back to hating Trump?
And he's saying it in the most generic terms.
Whether the victims of October the 7th in Israel or the ongoing attack on Gaza, all are victims of this dehumanization. How do we resist? In the present, not to say in the present.
So how do we resist?
I don't know, maybe stop doing this bullshit every year. How about that?
How about we give another Academy Award to a pro-war bullshit Nazi operation?
Didn't Zero Dark 30
Which is
win
what
an Oscar?
I don't know, but
Catherine Bigelow, I think, won an Oscar for that. That's the one about how a plucky redhead and some torture caught Osama bin Laden. Remember?
I didn't see the movie, but I heard that it was pro-war propaganda like that.
Oh no, it was, thank God this one.
What about
CIA
the Hurt
guy.
Locker? Did you see that?
That I know that won an award. Maybe I'm confusing the two of them. I thought Zero Dark 30 did too, and it was controversial because at the time, people who now have forgotten about it were upset at the implication torture, which it did not. It was a walk-in, and also that redheaded chick they made up. They pulled out of their asses.
Okay, so at least there was one guy who mentioned Gaza. That's the only. If there was more, please let me know. But that was it. That's it. The big.
Was Zelensky there? That's what I wanted to know. They didn't have Zelensky.
I guess they didn't. I guess Zelensky couldn't make it to the Oscars.
Not
I guess
no Oscars,
maybe he
no
was on a
Zelensky.
coke binge somewhere in Europe.
Go send him the Oscars.
No Sean Penn either.
And where's Sean Penn?
Where is Sean Penn?
He's been hiding out ever since his best friend, Flying Aces, Moon Juice, and MILF Hunter went down in the battle with Russia.
Okay, over to Steph. I put a lot of my money. I'm putting a lot of my money, my retirement money, into precious metals, gold and silver. Why? Because lots of people I trust with money. Max Kaiser's one of them. He's a big Bitcoin guy, and he told me gold is a good hedge against inflation, and gold is a good hedge against the stock market. And so did Carol Roth said that. And then also, who's the guy who wrote the book from Maui, my friend? Why am I blanking on his name? Ed Dowd. So they all said this. So I'm with them. And so I'm putting that into this. And I decided to partner with our sponsor to do this, Colonial Metals Group. They're helping me set up a secure, self-directed IRA where I have access to my assets no matter what the stock market and no matter what the government's doing. So let a team of experts at Colonial Metals Group help you protect your family's future. We've put together a special offer for our audience. Get this offer. Listen to this. You click on the link in the description below or call a special 800 number and you'll receive a safe and up to $10,000 in free silver. Then the number to call is 888-910-1419. 888-910-1419 or go to colonialsmetalgroup.com/Jimmy-Dore-Show.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM